He was a big loser. So weird. This Love Island show for me to eventually out her as like a closet conservative.
Tell me, where does this roller coaster reach a sea and stop the coasting? Used to be.
Hey YouTube, it's me Kristianna. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to, you can't even see my nails that good in this light. Hey YouTube, it's me Kristianna. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to whenindoubtpink. Hey YouTube, it's me Kristianna. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to whenindoubtpink. Okay, so we are doing our monthly roundup of topics, thoughts and lip gloss. Okay, I don't want to take a lot of time here, so yeah, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to hit the like button. Please support the kid. Okay, and yeah, let's get into it. Hey. Okay, so welcome back to my Kristianna's thoughts and lip gloss monthly recap, I guess. Pay no attention to what I'm doing to my face for the most part, because I have some new products here on my desk that I just want to try out, and I don't really want to get all into that in this video. But before we get started, I have like implemented some new categories throughout, and you might be able to see what they are. You might not even notice. But the first category today, anyway, will be a community highlight. And so for today's community highlight, I wanted to say, like, shout out to Garlic Pizza. You are like usually the first person to see my videos when I post them. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting the kid. And that goes to everybody, really. But I do know I talk about some people more than others on this channel, because I'm constantly like interacting with people in the comment section. And I think it's okay to like say, hey, shout out to you. On to the mental health check-in. So last month I was kind of sharing with y'all that I was feeling really stressed out, really stressed out. And ultimately that was because I, had taken a new job. Or kind of a new job. I used to work there before the Global Chicken Panini. My old coworker received a really huge promotion there, and really he was trying to look out for the cookout, and reached out to me and was like, hey, get on. You know what I mean? Like literally just trying to put a sis on, and I appreciate that, to be honest. It's not every day that people are thinking about you when you're like out of sight and out of mind, or you think you're out of mind. Anywho, long story short, it ended up not really being the place it used to be, and there are a lot of new characters in the space, and it just wasn't giving. But it was stressing me out because it paid pretty damn well. And I don't want to sit here and like say, oh, I'll never make that kind of money again, because you just never know where life takes us. But I will say to you, I will never make a decision solely for money ever again. Solely for money, I will never do that again. A couple months back, I did a get ready with me when I was getting ready to go to a retirement dinner, and it was me showing up at that dinner that put me front of mind for this position, which is pretty cool. You just never really know. I'm a lucky ducky because enough people care enough about me in this world to want to leave the door open for me, no matter which direction I'm going in, because I am being welcomed with open arms back to where I was just at, because I didn't actually leave. I literally left because there was a lot of money over there. You know what I mean? like that was it. That was it. Because I think I said to y'all a million kabillion times that I really loved my job. I really did. Just that there was a lot of money over there. Lesson learned, okay? We living and learning out here. So things that brought me joy in the month of July. 2 vlogs ago, I shared that I was gonna be able to teach a course at Rutgers University in New Brunswick. Teach a social media communications course. for union specifically, but like movement building. And honestly, I had more fun putting the course together than I did teaching it, because them older ladies was really hard on me on whether or not like social media should even exist or be a thing in this world. It was very challenging, but I had a blast like putting the course together. I'm also really glad that I got to spend some time with my good girlfriend Valerie before I left, honestly, because honestly some spaces really are like out of sight, out of mind. Actually, I'm even just remembering now, out of sight, out of mind. I need to call her and let her know that I left. Anyway, my girl, I had a blast. Like, I met some really good people while I was out there, and we'll see if I come back next year or not. But I don't know. I think that the process of, again, building this curriculum for the summer school actually was what solidified to me that I needed to go back home to my union, actually. Another thing that brought me joy this month was getting to see my grandparents. I be telling y'all all my business. I really do, but I really tell y'all stuff because I'm comfortable telling it. Like, there's certain things that I probably that I actually do keep to myself. But there are a lot of things that I'm just super okay with sharing, because I know I'm not the only goddamn one going through whatever it is, you know? Or that maybe someone's already been there, done that. That's the fun part about having a community. But I got to see my grandparents, despite the fact that I wasn't really looking forward to going to the family function, because there were people there that I just am not in community with. But I was able to pull my grandparents to the side and explain to them myself why they were hearing that I was not behaving, but like that I had taken a certain stance. You know what I mean? Because the one thing I don't like is like when people speak for me without fully understanding my position, and then they misrepresent me in rooms that I'm not in. You know what I'm saying? And so like I actually really do appreciate that I had an opportunity to kind of present my own case to my grandparents on how I'm feeling about our family dynamics and how I fall into that, and what we can do moving forward to make sure that we're gathering in a safe space for everybody. And it was actually well received. I brought my grandmother a bag from my handmade shop, Sign the Loud Handmade Where It Finds Magical Resistance. And she really enjoyed that too. I didn't stay as long as like my other family members did. Like, I went up there with my mom and my siblings, and I left with my cousin, who you guys see all the time. I left early with her because she had to go to work. But I did that really because I didn't even really feel comfortable going into my family member's home when I'm not in community with them. Like, so I didn't even eat at this barbecue, to be clear. Like, I stayed outside. All the food was brought in at some point, and I didn't go in the house because I just did not want to be put in a situation where it's like, oh, she came into my house and didn't even speak to me, or like, and I had planned to say hello, but they kind of kept their distance from me, and I just like went with it. Because like, obviously you go to someone's house, you say hello, you know? But this particular family member already knew what type of time I was on, and I think my mom might have threatened them. But either way, they didn't bother me or come at me or whatever. We literally didn't speak. But I just didn't think it would be right for me to go in their house and be eating food and stuff, and I'm not speaking to them. You know what I'm saying? So I stayed outside the whole time and talked to my grandmother, who was also outside most of the time. I made a small bet with my mom, actually, that I would retrieve some family information from my grandmother during this time. And my mom didn't think I could do it, but girl, I got all the tea, okay? My grandparents love me. My uncle came with his new wife and their child, which was so weird because nobody ever thought he would have a kid. And so like the fact that, okay, so I'm the oldest grandchild on this side of the family and I'm 31, you know what I mean? And so he just had a kid. And so like my youngest cousin is now 2 years old. It's like so weird. So weird. I mean, that's family, right? Like that's how it goes, but just the age gap is really mind-blowing. But also this particular uncle is the youngest of all the siblings, so you know, I think he's maybe 9 or 10 years older than me. The last thing I'll put in this category for now is going to the Colored Girls Museum in Germantown, Philadelphia was a huge highlight for the month. I had never heard of this museum, but my good girlfriend, who she like curates, I don't know, like she curates like different pop-ups and stuff like that, with all of her vendor friends. And this one just happened to be at what was called the Colored Girls Museum. And it was just a beautiful space. And I found out that they like close at a certain point in the year, and then they open back up and they like redo the space. And so there's always something new to go and see, which is pretty cool. I really want to try to get my mom a ticket, or like me go with my mom, like us do an outing, right, and go there. I think she would really enjoy it. Apparently more people from out of town knew it was there than people who actually live here, because I was bringing it up to different people and nobody's like heard of this museum, but neither did I, but I'm not like from here. And it was like people from DC. I met people from Baltimore that came up to see the museum. It was very interesting the way that like just more people from out of town know about this gym. And it was like in the middle of a regular neighborhood. You would not really, it was in the cut. It was in the cut. For sure. But it was a really beautiful experience, and I'm glad that I wasn't a flaky friend and I did go and you know, take my turn running the gift shop, since I had stuff that had sold there the last couple of months. Challenges and goals. Okay, so this is a new category, but I actually thought I think it's okay, you know. So your girl has a really short temper. I don't know if that comes across here, because I mean, or just generally actually, because I do tend to show up for the most part in a really bubbly way. I try really hard to like stay upbeat and stuff like that, for sure. But your girl, she is very short-tempered. I get it from my mama. My mom don't play that. She is not the 1, the 2, or the 3. Okay. Short temper. And one challenge I really saw this month is that I was faced with a lot of different kinds of situations that we don't necessarily need to get into, but I found myself losing my temper several times this month, with people, with situations, in ways that, like, I don't know, like I haven't felt my blood boil the way that it did at different points this month, like that in a while, because I tend to, I think, internalize and swallow my short temperness for the most part. And I just like had some moments this month where I actually exploded. Like nothing to where I'm getting locked up or arrested or whatever, but lots of yelling this month, lots of cursing people the hell out this month. It wasn't the best look, you know? Wasn't the best look. But also, like, sometimes it's necessary to let people know where you coming from, let them know where you at, let them know who they can and cannot play with, you know? I just wish that I had conducted myself in certain situations just a little bit more maturely. Is that what I'm looking for? Well, no, because I feel like, you know, anger is a natural emotion. It's not immature to be angry. But yeah, I just wish I had conducted myself a little more smoothly this month. I ain't hit nobody in the head, so I guess that's a win, but you know. So that was a challenge this month. A goal, this month that I've been really doing well with is getting back into being physically active. You know, this kind of topic is kind of triggering for me, so I don't really get all into it. I low-key have like a goal, and I've been moving my body a little bit towards that goal. We'll leave that there. Let's talk about music. I know last time I was talking about the Barbie girls, the Barbie World song with Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj. And some of you were saying like that you think that Ice Spice is like an industry plant. I don't disagree, right? No, I think I'm going to use my old-fashioned Smoky Glow palette. Old-fashioned. This is really an old palette, but still looking pretty good. I don't disagree that she might be an industry plant, but it's like you just never really know who knows who, or like how people are getting connected until it's not even relevant anymore. Like I remember at one point they were saying the girl Her was an industry plant, but nobody would say how. And then by the time they started saying, oh, her father is this person, he knows this one and that one, it was like already irrelevant. But also that she's really talented. My thing is like, you can be an industry plant or like a nepo baby or whatever, but show up and like actually be competent at the job. Like, you know what I mean? Don't blow the opportunity and like gift that you're being given by not even having to grind as hard. Show up and like kill it. But also like, you know, I think in this case of like an Ice Spice, it's like, okay, who did you like link up with, you know. But also I really like Ice Spice. I really like her. I done got all off task. So I'm still listening to a lot of Bombay Bicycle Club. If you're like into indie or like alternative music, you'll like Bombay Bicycle Club. I'm just gonna actually include a playlist right here because I love music. Like I love music. And so every once in a while when I feel a vibe of my life kind of shifting or changing, or I feel like I'm going into like a mini chapter, a new mini chapter of my life, I will create a playlist for that moment of time. And so like I made this little like floaty gems like playlist, and I've only been listening to these songs the last like 3 weeks or so, you know. So go ahead and check out those little handful of songs there if you are, you know, looking for some new music, into that sort of thing. But I will say though, if you don't do nothing else, go listen to that Black is Blue song by, I want to say it's like Tamar is how you say it, her name. Maybe it's Tamar, but the song is beautiful and I just keep listening to it and listening to it. I love the song. It's a good song. At the time of this video recording, I haven't seen the Barbie movie. Okay, editing me. Mind your business that I look exactly the same as the video, even though it's several days later. She's a bum. Okay, so I saw the movie, and this is a spoiler alert because I want to talk about it just a little bit, because I'm actually not sure if I'm gonna like use the vlog footage because I vlogged that day, but then I stopped vlogging, and so I might just throw that vlog out. But anyway, okay, so the Barbie movie, I enjoyed it. Like I really liked it. I really enjoyed myself. I laughed a lot. I also understand what a lot of the hoopla was. Some of the like conservatives, Fox News for folks getting upset about the movie, talking about the patriarchy, and just like being a more political, a more politically charged film. It was interesting because the movie was definitely not a children's film, although you might be convinced that it, like, you should think that it's a children's film, right? Barbie. But it was definitely a movie for grown-ups. I was fully prepared to sit through a children's movie just because, you know, whatever. Like, I'm really not a young spirit. I really am an old-ass lady. But, like, I have a lot of youthfulness about me. I was fully prepared to sit through a kid's movie. That was not a kid's movie. And I just thought it was so funny. Again, spoiler alert. That Ken, as soon as he got like a little tasty taste, Ryan Gosling, of the patriarchy, lost his damn mind. Okay? But like, that's so true, right? It's like, the reality is that like, it takes a lot for you to lay your privileges down, however that privilege shows up, in preference of another group of people, outside of how you are like categorized, you know? And so like, for him to eventually have to like lay down the patriarchy to go back to having things be the way they were in Barbie world. I just thought it was also weird too, like, that I really thought at the end of the movie that they would go to like some kind of equality, like like equality land, Ken and Barbie world, but it like dead ass just went straight back to being Barbie world, which was really funny. I thought there were a lot of like kind of dead moments too, like they gave this long singing Grease inspired montage for Ken and the boys. Didn't need to exist, didn't need to happen. I thought Issa Rae was really great in the movie. She really ate her part down. I enjoyed it. I think it's really interesting though, like, it's kind of played out a little bit from Barbie movies that already exist, even like life size, right, where there's like a grown woman who is like a workaholic of some sort, and she has a daughter, and the Barbie helps them to reconnect. Like, that storyline is played out. I'll also say that I felt like this movie was giving elements. It was two movies I thought of. I'm trying to think of what the first one was, but the second movie I thought of was The Help. How there's always like some white woman in distress, and a woman of color has to step up and help her see herself. And it was crazy because if you remember, there was a Weird Barbie, and Weird Barbie I thought was going to be the fairy godmother in this and helping her to like see who she really is, and you know, whatever. And even Weird Barbie, another white Barbie, could not do that. It had to be this woman of color stepping up and telling this white woman to like believe in herself again, blah blah blah. Oh, that was the other thing. The movie reminded me of Elf, actually. Like the base plot line and stuff like that, like, reminded me a lot of Elf. And as soon as I said it to my cousin, in the next scene, Will Ferrell was there, and I was fucking dying because I love Elf. But just like the idea of like going back to Barbie land, and like they got to do all this stuff to like get there. I really would be curious to see who wrote this, and then who wrote Elf or whatever, where there's some collaborations in the writing room, because it was very similar, if you know that movie. And like, that's not a bad thing. It was just something I peeped immediately because I've seen Elf a million times. But like, I really enjoyed the movie. I wouldn't watch it again. That was kind of like a one and done kind of movie. I started getting annoyed once I started realizing that it was actually going to take the women of color to help Barbie like figure out who she is in life, you know? I also got a lot of flashbacks to my my Barbie video documentary that I made about Black Barbie. Some of the facts and things that I researched came up in the movie, and I thought that was really cool. Them like bringing up like the owner of Barbie, the woman Ruth. I thought that was pretty interesting. Like, her ghost lives in the Mattel building. That was really weird. But yeah, I think that's enough for now. If I should do like a deeper dive, let me know. But I don't want to like do a deep dive video and nobody watch the shit. So yeah, we'll see. Did I say this was the movies and TV show category? I don't think I did, but here we are. I was watching this like Charles Manson documentary, like that's any better, the other day before I went to sleep. Yes, I watch scary stuff before I go to sleep pretty often. I like scary movies. But anywho, I was watching a documentary about how this dude really, like, it's like, yo, he was really like a loser. Like, he was a loser and a groupie. Okay, I don't know if y'all know much about Charles Manson, but he, like, you know, he was a cult leader and like all this stuff, and he like convinced his cult following to like unalive people for him and stuff like that. And they were like people within the like music industry or like Hollywood or whatever. Ooh, my battery dying. Ultimately, what I got out of the documentary is that he was just like a loser. He was a big loser and thought that he was like entitled to be more than what he was giving, and manipulated a lot of people. But also it's just so weird the way that like people can see imperfections in you without even, or like imperfections or like insecurities in you without you even having to tell them that you're struggling with a thing, you know, because they just kept talking about how like he was able to manipulate these young girls who came from families that they didn't feel seen in, or like, you know, different people had their different scenarios, but like he was able to bring a lot of these women into his like into his cult basically, because he could see that they were like struggling with stuff within them, and he took advantage of that, to the level it's like he's now like pimping them to other people to try to get his foot in the door so he could give his music away, or like get people to listen to his music by like letting them sleep with his cult members. Like, it was a lot, but it was really good and like educational in a lot of unexpected ways, I guess. Okay, so some of the girlies be really getting on my last nerve talking about this Love Island show. So I went on Hulu and I turned on an episode, and I'm pretty sure it's the current season or whatever, and I cut it on and then cut it back off like 25 minutes later, okay? Cut it back off. There was like this guy, Andre, who was black. He was the only black guy, or I think because I cut it off before anybody else could show up, I'm thinking he was the only black guy for the season. And he came on talking about, you know, he's a player, this and that, like he know he can get himself in trouble, blah 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 blah. Meanwhile, all the other men were talking about falling in love, they want to meet the right one, this and that. I'm like, see, now this is already getting on my nerves. It's already testing me, all right, off rip. Then this beautiful black woman gets on the show or whatever. Like, she was so gorgeous, right? Dark skin, like teeth, like eye, like she was so pretty. And they were saying that like for this season, the public is the one who like matches the couples up, because I don't really know how the show works, right? I was just trying to see what the hoopla was about. Soon as the black girl came out, I already knew that they were gonna pair her with the other black guy, because if I had to think about how the public would perceive them both being on a show together, they're probably gonna put them together. As soon as she came out, the camera like looks at Andre, and you could tell on his face that he's like going, not me, not me, not me, don't put her with me, don't put her with me, you know what I mean? Like it was very obvious his body language was giving that, and I just couldn't do it. I turned it off, because I'm like, I'm not about to sit here and watch this black woman get dog walked. I'm not gonna take this, okay? I am not. And there's a part of me that's still like, should I go and see if that's what ends up happening, you know what I mean? But like, I just feel it in my bones that this black woman about to get embarrassed. I just feel it in my bones. I'm like, damn, I want to like partake in some of the pop culture like shows and stuff, but not at the expense of getting my own feelings hurt. I cut that off, and like my feelings were hurt, and I'm like, I literally didn't even watch the whole episode. I was like, that's enough for me. I don't think Love Island's gonna be my show. I also started watching Catfish again. Oh my god, yo, okay, so not the colors falling out the palette, girl. Okay, so a couple years ago, I had moved home with my family, and me and my sister were like sharing a room, and like one thing we always used to do together was watch Catfish. And I forgot all about this daggone show because I honestly thought in the year of our Lord, like 2023, that people wouldn't still be getting catfished. But people are still getting catfished in 2023, which is wild to me. Also, the girl Kimmy Crawford, who I had brought up recently because I had gotten her merch from her podcast, is on the show, and I enjoy her. She ain't the one to be played with neither. She be getting them together. But I am really enjoying watching catfish. A mess, but I live for it. Okay, so pop culture chatter. I'm gonna keep this really short. The situation with Carly Russell, the woman who went missing and said that she had like saw a child in the middle of the road or something. Turns out there was no child in the middle of the road. She just really needed a break in life and went to go hide out, I think in a hotel or something like that, allegedly. And she's since come forward and said that all of that was made up. I do think, like, yeah, she should get in trouble. But like, you know, like literally, you don't get to do something like that and walk away without consequence. But I think for me, it's weird watching so many people be excited about like punishing this black woman. Yes, this black woman. Just because people do stupid stuff all the time, but just watching our community like ready to like chop her head off for this is really interesting. And because for me, I think it's that like culturally we spend a good amount of time talking about the way that men are like affecting the state of the world and blah blah blah. And we could get into that, but we don't have enough time today. And so I do think that it's like the moment a woman messes up, and a black woman at that, people are excited at the idea of like being able to punish them. It's weird to me. It's gross. But also, like, on a lighter note, the one person who did make out well from this whole situation is her damn boyfriend, or her ex-boyfriend. He's like a damn like celebrity at this point. He has tons and tons of followers as a result of this situation happening. He's basically a damn influencer, putting out public statements about the situation, and it's very interesting because her boyfriend, or the ex-boyfriend, he's a very good-looking man. A very good-looking man. And yeah, I mean, she did all this or whatever because apparently maybe he was gonna leave her, or maybe he had already left her at this point, and she was doing this over a guy, and he was winning before, and he's definitely winning now. I can tell you with a lot of confidence that they ain't never getting back together, especially like with the amount of women who have poured into his like Instagram page, and I'm sure sliding in the DMs and whatever. Like, that boy gone. I also want to say one more thing, since we're kind of talking about the internet, and I don't think I'm going to be elaborating too much on this. I'm just going to drop it right here on the table and keep it moving. All right. Kelly stamps. Okay, so I would like to say that the version of Kelly stamps that y'all are all coming to realize today is the same Kelly stamps that I recognized well before the pandemic, all through the pandemic. Like, this version of her has not, she's always been this person. Okay. During the pandemic, I made a video kind of testing the waters to see if it would be safe for me to eventually out her as like a closet conservative. But that video, it did okay in back chats, if that makes sense, like Discords and stuff like that, because you know we get the analytics of where our videos and stuff are being sent. The video did well in the dark shadows of the web, but not on the platform because people were still looking at her as a darling. But I always knew what type of time she was on. Always knew what type of time she was on. This isn't like an all of a sudden thing. She's always been that. Okay. Okay, let's talk about trends and internet meme things, okay? Like girl dinner. Girl dinner. Girl dinner. If you know, you know about girl dinner. I don't have a ton to say about this. I just really enjoy the concept. But I saw this TikTok that made me kind of think, because they were kind of breaking down the fact that men, you know, eat girl dinner. Women obviously eat girl dinner. But then when women get married to men, there is an expectation that that they should be doing like a lot of like heavier cooking and stuff like that now that they're married. And just like how weird it is that those expectations, again, even when men are eating girl dinner, they expect a whole different vibe once they like take on a wife, even if they was eating girl dinner while they were dating. Anyway, moving on. Syphilis is on the rise. Protect your cookie. All right. I like saw this like doctor talking about how the cooties is up, you know, the numbers for the cooties are going up. And although I'm not someone who really talks about sex and stuff as like a platform thing, I do think it's important to say, like, you know, especially because I see, you know, again, my analytics say that the majority of people watching this channel are in my age group. And then the second age group is a little bit younger, and then, you know, a little bit older, and, you know, okay. But like, if you're listening to me right now, okay, all right, make sure you stay up on your cookie. Make sure you getting her checked out, all right? And if you're like hanging out with any sketchy characters, make sure you get that cookie triple checked out, okay? Protect your cookie, because these men do not care and they will lie. All they do. Next thing you know, you got the itchy witchies. Moving forward. Some tea on me. I don't have any tea right now. But I will say that I am personally just like feeling re-energized energetically to get back into the goals and stuff that I set for myself at the beginning of the year. I had a lot of setbacks to a lot of those goals, but I'm feeling a little bit more stable these days to get back at it, you know? I think that also includes my, you know, my hustle and bustle here on YouTube. I do want y'all to give me some grace moving forward the next couple of months, because I am going to be shaking that ass for the algorithm just a little bit to see where it gets me. So I am going to be doing, you know, my regular like vlog content and stuff. I'm going to try to do some more sit downs. I'm also going to be doing some content that is literally for the algorithm, meaning that like it may not be something that's interesting to you, but it might not even do well right away, but in a couple months when you look back, then there's like thousands of views on it, right? Because it's something that like the algorithm will appreciate versus like me catering to you guys necessarily, if that makes sense. You got to do that stuff every once in a while so that like people can find me over here in our little community, you know. So yeah, definitely give me grace, because I am going to be shaking that ass for the algorithm just a bit. In the words of Bria Jones. I think I'm gonna wear lashes today. Okay, sorry. My undiagnosed ADHD had me in my phone for like a couple minutes. But I was looking at like the thing that like got my attention was that Tiffany Haddish is in the new Haunted Mansion movie, which if I remember correctly was an Eddie Murphy. I want to say that was an Eddie Murphy Disney movie or something like that. But her and Jamie Lee Curtis are in this movie, and I just can't help but to think to myself, okay, I thought we was done with Tiffany Haddish once we all found out about these like allegations involving minors. One, I just think that's really interesting. But also two, at the very least, her comeback movie should not be a children's film. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one that thinks it's interesting that this is how it's going down, but Hollywood for you. I did see last night though, before I laid down, that she has been sharing stuff about her and her relationship with Common, which is weird that she's still talking about the Common thing, because now you're looking really pressed, you know, because he's like moved on, and you know, and you're like still talking about him even though it's been over. But she mentioned that she like has a condition that makes her uterus shaped like a heart, and therefore she's like unable to carry to term, which is really, really sad, right? I don't wish that on any woman, especially a woman who desires children, right? But I just thought it was really weird the way that people, again, like people want to punish Black women so bad, and they'll say anything, like they'll say anything, they'll do anything, and people just kept talking about her scandal and saying like that's what she gets, like basically that's what she gets. Oh, I got glue in my eye, that's not great. I can't find my fan. Not me tearing up, and I ain't even finished my damn face yet. And like, let's be clear, I'm never ever gonna be standing up for no abusers, okay? But I just feel like people don't know what weapon to pick up when it's time to that's what I want to say. People don't know what kind of weapon to pick up when it's time to clap back. Because even there was a situation recently, sorry, my nose is running because I'm allergic to the glue. There was a situation recently where Just Hilarious had said some transphobic things, right? Or you know, depending on where you stand, if you're a transphobe, you might agree with her or whatever. Okay, I said what I said. But people came at her in her statement with transphobia, saying that she looks like a man and this and that. We also know that like a woman lost her life recently because the man she was dealing with thought that she was a trans woman and she actually was a cis woman. But like, it just feels to me like people don't know how to properly clap back at folks without leaning into being just as problematic as the problem, is how it feels to me. Like Tiffany Haddish has done some awful things when it comes to children. I think I need some more glue on this. She's done some horrible things when it comes to children. However, like her having like this medical condition isn't any sort of like karmic thing. Those are my opinions, okay? All right, so I'm gonna fight with this eyelash a little bit longer. We'll see if I get a final look, and I'll probably do my lips. I'll be back. Okay, so this is the final look. Simple, really simple. I think next month I'm gonna do some more color because I miss it. I miss wearing brightly colored makeup. Okay, but anyway. But yeah, these are the lips. Something like kind of neutral, natural. I like it. Let's play with the light. Okay, let's see. This is where I normally keep it. Still looks good. And then like more blue. Maybe the blue light was the win. I feel like it looks better this way. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.